Anna Paulina Luna joins us now, and she is there in Florida's 13th congressional district. She is the Republican nominee. She's also a veteran, proud military wife, and we appreciate her. It is good to see you, my friend. What is happening in your district? I need you to help control the power of the people's purse. How can that happen?
So basically what happened was, for the most part, Democrats had, on the surface level, pulled funding from the state of Florida, but they started playing through these back-end super PACs. So a billionaire out of Michigan that's tied to Perkins Coie, which is obviously the law firm that cooked up the Steele dossier.
Yes.
Obviously, yeah, and tied to the Obamas. And of course, George Soros actually dumped $7 million into my race against me in attack ad. So it is actually one of the most expensive races for open seats here in the state of Florida. And apparently I ticked off someone in the DNC because they have labeled me MAGA Supreme Extreme, and they are trying to essentially buy Pinellas County.
That is $7 million. And ad buys are important because those, it does shift perspective. It does shift perspectives in this. And for those who think that, oh, well, it's Florida, it couldn't be. No, there's some districts that it can be competitive, especially when you have Perkins Coie people, which, as you heard Anna say, that's the firm that was hired that's Hillary Clinton's firm that was the middleman between them and Fusion GPS, which was an unregistered foreign agent. And they were shopping all of that disinformation and using it as probable cause to spy on private citizens who were simply working with the Trump campaign. It's insane. So the 13th congressional district in Florida, because I was looking at, voting, et cetera, and that's one of the areas where it can be competitive in Florida. And as you were saying, in Pinellas County, you're a strong conservative. And I mean, you're a female, you understand math, you are a strong conservative, you have solutions. What has been, because I can't imagine people would be looking at a Democrat opponent in that race and thinking, yeah, we love the pronoun fight. That's going to help us pay our bills. That's going to bring down inflation. Yeah, Biden needs to go and talk to that one dude more instead of visiting the border or dealing with anything else. Then I saw also, in addition to this, I might have you respond to it, I saw a survey of Hispanic voters in Florida. By and large, the overwhelming majority, and it was like plus 60%. They totally agreed with Ron DeSantis on the Hamptons flights, the Martha's Vineyard flights. And apparently they've been incredibly angry and have been dealing with this for way longer than the press has ever discussed, because Biden's been sending flights to Florida for a heck of a lot longer than DeSantis ever considered sending anything to Martha's Vineyard. I kind of wanted to get your take on that, because I just don't think that voters can be tricked, or can they?
What we're seeing right now is this is kind of a different strategy than I've seen them. And by them, I mean the establishment DNC really used in the past. They actually did a total media blackout on my race. So they actually stopped reporting everything, to include endorsements coming in from the Attorney General's office, Ashley Moody. I got endorsed by the PBA, no reporting on it. And then they started floating a lot of these disinformation articles. So to put it in perspective, sometimes you have to laugh at this because it gets so crazy, but they tried to tie me to Pablo Escobar. Of course, Pablo Escobar died in 95. I must have been about 6 years old. I'm not even kidding. Yes, they tried to tie me to Pablo Escobar. And I was joking. I was like, look, I'm Mexican-American, not Colombian.
They got you confused with Hunter Biden.
Yes, they did. But they went with the total media blackout. And then what they tried to do is come in with a super PAC and buy in all the ads in the area. So as of right now, I can tell you, just based on what we were able to see in the primary, I am a House Freedom Caucus candidate, meaning I am endorsed by the same group that is proud to have members like Lauren Boebert, like Byron Donald, like MTG in Washington, D.C. But because of that, I'm up against a lot more than I think most candidates would be up against. So what I'm telling people is, please make sure to use your social media, share information about our race. Starting 2 days ago, I posted a bag of trail mix, and they've censored all of our tweets to include that bag of trail mix on my Twitter account. So they're trying to suppress, buy, and really drown us out by a media blackout.
And we're talking with Anna Paulina Luna in Florida's 13th congressional district. She's the Republican candidate there. And the media blackout, and for people who don't understand the media ad buys, you have only so much airtime, whether it's on local TV or page space on websites or whatever, airtime on radio. There's only so much time that's available to buy. And so what she's talking about, just to explain it for people, we have affiliates in this district and all across Florida. they will completely buy up any available ad time and squeeze her out entirely. So she can't even compete in that format. And then when we've seen, I have a report in a story coming up next hour about how media has been working with, as agents of state, with tech companies to suppress any kind of, whether it's search results in media entities or on social media platforms, any kind of search results or discussion of certain candidates and certain issues and things like that. So this is exactly what she's hitting at. So they know they can't beat you on issues. So they're just going to try to totally just squelch you out.
100%. And what I decided to do is I said, you know what, if they're not going to give me the time of day, I know people will be searching me and at least going to my social media. So here's one thing that happened on the back end. Of course, because it's a Democrat that did this, the media is not getting behind the Me Too movement or any of that. But, my opponent did something completely immature, try to send out pictures of me in a swimsuit. And so I posted a picture of him dancing with drag queens, paying them. And I figured that if he's going to try to, hit me and hypersexualize me and make me look like an idiot, well, let's just show the world exactly who this guy chooses to affiliate with. So what we're doing now is we are door knocking every day. Today and towards the end of the election, I will have hit collectively over 50,000 doors, meaning myself with my team every single day. It's me and 6 other people. And we're out there and we're talking directly to voters. And I just don't think that they'll be able to buy this vote. But I need every Republican. And if you're listening to the show, if you're independent, I need you to go to the polls and vote in person on November 8th.
And that is huge. Talking with Anna Paulina Luna. And you can go to voteapl.com and find her website there, voteapl.com, because to make up for being strangled out of the airwaves and everything else, you got to do a lot of retail politics. And that is often the most unappreciated. That is so unappreciated and underestimated, because I think everyone likes to show that they're contributing, and social media, people can see it and it's a good measure. But if you're going and knocking on doors, it's kind of harder people love that. That's just kind of how they are. But you need this. You absolutely have to have this.
But what we're seeing is because the Democrats have really painted Republicans as these extremists, like literally, starting with Joe Biden and that crazy address that he gave with the black and red background. We just saw earlier, was it yesterday or today, that one of Marco Rubio's staffers was brutally beaten.
I was going to ask you, are you worried about that for yourself and your own canvassers?
2 days ago, I was out with a veteran buddy of mine door knocking, and my staffer, who's 19 years old, and a guy got in his face and said that if I showed up to the door, he was going to beat the shit out of me. Wow. So yes, we are worried. But again, I tell my people, if you see someone like that, walk away. If they're continuing to bother you, record it. We'll take down the address. But they, and by they I mean the Democrats, have turned the political climate into an environment where conservatives are now being targeted and people are getting violent.
And I think it's interesting that it's happening in Florida, and it shows you how competitive these races are, particularly in Florida, because Democrats really, in order to maintain any kind of competitiveness, they have to be able to swing something out of that state. Talking with Anna Paulina Luna, and you can find her at voteapl.com. So what can people do to help? Because this is one of those situations. Yeah, it's Florida's 13th congressional district. We get it. It's in Florida. However, controlling the power of the purse, who is in that seat, whoever is in that district, affects all of us. So what can people do to help you?
The number one thing people can do is talk to your friends and family about this congressional race. If you're in Pinellas County, anywhere from Tarpon Springs to Tierra Verde in between, you have a ability to impact really the sway of control for one of the greatest superpowers in the world, not the United States. So this is an open congressional seat. Please bring your family members to the polls and your friends to the polls on election day. And then if you can, share our information on social media. As I stated before, they might be able to suppress me, but they can't suppress all of us together. And so if you can, share that information, but just understand that we are up against people that don't play by the rules. There are no rules in politics. And these people, as you can see with the Steele dossier, as you can see with Hillary Clinton, they're involved in these congressional races. They're even involved in state attorney races. George Soros is coming in with funding. So they're not here to play. They're here to control the country.
Exactly.
And we have to really fight back with our vote.
And I have to go back to something that she said. The only way that they can't compete with her, so they try to squelch her out on the airwaves, and then they try to shame her for being an attractive female by sending out swimsuit photos. If I cannot even believe that, especially, it shows you Democrats that never cared about Me Too, because they use these tactics against people that are too competitive for them to beat and win. So they have to do this kind of, that's skeezy. That is so skeezy. And if that man is married, I mean, his wife should be, I mean, what a shameful thing for his family.
I mean, the fact is, and I told this to a reporter, because I had a reporter that was left-leaning reach out to me from a big outlet, and they said, have you ever experienced, sexism in politics? And I said, from Democrats, yeah. They like to accuse Republicans of what they're guilty of. The fact is if I was a Democrat woman running and they did that, it would be all over. But the fact is, because I'm a Republican, it's supposed to be okay. And they won't report on it, just like they won't report really on anything else in regards to our race. So the fact is I don't really think it'll hurt us. I mean, I'm in a beach community. The fact is that a majority of people are in swimsuits in some capacity. But, I'm just not going to play those games. I'm focusing on the economy. He can send out, my selfies and hopefully people can see right through it.
I mean, what do you say? First off, what does he want you to wear a burqa? I don't understand. Number one. Number two is I cannot believe that it's in 2022 and we have a Democrat male politician who is trying to body shame a Republican female candidate. It's 2022. It's absolutely insane. And the party, I mean, I guess that's who they want to be. And I guess that's, they want to own that. But, that's ridiculous. Shame on him for doing that. Anna Paulina Luna, we're glad that you're running, although I know it's not easy. Stay safe out there because, you just described too, you got a little bit of a concern for physical safety, especially after what happened to the Rubio canvasser. I know you have one last quick thing, an event coming up November 5th with Governor DeSantis, correct?
Yes, Governor DeSantis endorsed me 2 days ago. So Charlie Kirk will be out here with Turning Point Action and Governor DeSantis. And remember the 5th of November. So we're going to be bringing the heat here in Florida.
There you go. VoteAPL.com is the website. Anna Paulina Luna, thank you so much. And we're going to be following the race. And we hope that people listen and show up and help, go door to door. That's one of the most important things that you can do. Be safe. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Of course.